welcome back to the Fry Kitchen. I am going to show you how we're going to smoke chickens. So tonight we're going to brine these chickens and we're going to use a buttermilk brine. Now the purpose of a buttermilk brine is that it has enzymes that make the birds more tender. So that's the reason we're going to use buttermilk. Now you can make whatever brine you want to. I really like the buttermilk brine. I like the flavor, and I have a really good recipe. So we're going to get these birds ready, take the giblets out. So to brine them, I like to fold the wing under to get them ready to smoke. We're going to make the brine. It calls for a half a gallon of water, which I should have already done by now, but we'll do it anyway. A half a gallon of water, half a gallon of buttermilk. Now, I found this brining bucket at a place called Championship Barbecue Supply. I've been using stock pots. I put them in an ice chest. And I love this design because one of the problems you have is that when you put a turkey or a chicken in liquid, they float. So they made this plate looking thing that slides down in there and it twists so it holds the bird in the brine. You can brine up to 4 chickens or a 25-pound turkey in this particular bucket. I'm going to add some pepper. I'm going to add some cayenne pepper. 1 cup of, they call for kosher salt. I use sea salt because I like sea salt. And then 1 cup of brown sugar. And then we're going to dissolve the salt. And that sometimes can take a while. But I don't know if you've had smoked turkey. It is wonderful. I love smoked turkey and chicken. I love smoked turkey, but I also love smoked chicken, which is what we're going to make this time. She's laughing at me. All right, I think that's pretty good. I think it's good to use gloves when you're handling poultry as much as you can. Sometimes you can't. Like, I've smoked turkeys on campouts. I've fried turkeys on campouts, and nobody died because I didn't have gloves on that I know of. Okay, so now we're going to put these chickens into the brine. Now, a lot of times you don't have enough brine to submerge both chickens. So what you can do is just add water to it and get it above. And then kind of twirl it around a little bit to mix it in. Then you take this plate and you push it down. It's got these ridges, and you push it down as far as you can. Make sure the turkey's submerged, and you spin it. Did I say turkeys again? Chickens, and then you spin it. Now then, I've got them completely submerged. Now, a lot of recipes call for 1 hour per 1 pound of chicken. Of chicken. We're doing chickens. I don't know if I say it one more time. We're smoking chickens. Maybe I'll remember that we're smoking chickens. So, you let this sit overnight in the refrigerator. You have to keep it below 40 degrees or you could start bacteria growth in it. So I have a lid. I put the lid on and we'll put it in the fridge. Hi everybody and welcome back. We are going to be smoking these chickens. They're not turkeys, they're chickens. And they're two 5-pound chickens, and we're gonna cook them in this smoker. Now this is a portable smoker made by Masterbuilt. I love it because it runs off of these small bottles of propane that you can get at Walmart or Sam's or wherever. So it produces a very consistent heat. And we have the water to maintain the moisture that's in this container, and this is where we put the wood chips. So I use cherry wood chips, and you can buy them anywhere. We'll smoke this at about 240, but we're gonna let it heat up and get the smoke started. Now, I brined these in a buttermilk brine overnight. After I pulled them out this morning, got them out of the brine, I dried them, and then I put the dry rub on them. And the dry rub is, I added something kind of special that I've not used before, but I've had them on steaks. I use espresso coffee in this rub. It has onion powder, paprika, brown sugar, ground black pepper, salt, and chili powder. And all those things are put together, and I shake them on here real good. The coffee, you can't, it just adds this layer of flavor that is amazing on smoked meats. So give it a try sometime. You don't have to use a lot. I think this probably has a tablespoon or so of espresso. So the chickens are brined. I pat them dry, and then I put the rub on. And as soon as we get up to heat, we'll put them in the smoker. I've used all kinds of smokers. I used to have one the size of this grill behind me that had a smoke box on it, and it worked great. But a lot of them need attention. If you're using different types of wood, you've got to watch the wood. You can't let it get too hot. So you have to know what you're doing when you use natural woods. And hardwoods work great, but they put out a lot of heat. I like this because it's consistent. I've also used charcoal smokers, and they're really good too, but the charcoals will burn out in about an hour, so you have to keep the charcoals going. Sometimes you have to dump the ash. Ash is not your friend when you're cooking with charcoal. If it ashes up, you start losing heat really quickly. So, I love this gas thing. Now, of course, there are pellet smokers. Those things work really well, but the pellets tend to burn hot. You have to be careful with that. So, we're at 200 degrees. I'm already getting smoke. I don't know if you can see it in the shot, but we're already getting smoke. So I'm gonna put these chickens in. On here. Now there is one thing you have to be careful of when you're smoking chickens in this is flare-ups. And flare-ups are gonna happen. And that's when grease drips down into the flame. You'll get a flare-up. Turkeys are in. You want to come zoom in on that? Yeah. You're already seeing the smoke. This water keeps it moist. It doesn't let the meat dry out. And that's one of the two things that will dry it out is no water and high heat. So we'll keep it at about 240, between 230 and 240, and let it smoke for, I think, 4.5 hours. We'll come back and check it in a bit. As you're smoking this, you're gonna have to watch your temperature. When I put those two chickens in there, it dropped at probably 100 degrees because of their cool, because they just came out of the refrigerator. It's best to let them get to room temperature before you put them in the smoker. But, you know, I'd rather deal with the temperature than the problem of having the meat. Chicken can go bad pretty quickly. The bacteria will build up fairly quickly. So it's better to let the temperature go down, turn it up to high, get it back up, and then manage the heat from this propane bottle. These bottles are good for about 5 hours. Now the last thing we're going to do as we smoke this is we're going to put a thermometer in the chicken. I kept saying turkey. I usually smoke turkeys. I don't smoke a lot of chickens. This is just a little battery operated thermometer. Shows you the actual temp, which right now the outside temp says 95, and you can set the temperature you want. I'm going to cook these chickens to 157 degrees, which is a safe temperature. You usually want to eat poultry at 165, but when it gets to 157, then I'm going to turn the heat up and let it brown the skin a little bit. So let's go ahead and insert this into the chicken. You put the thermometer in the thickest part of the meat, which is the breast. This is the one that's likely to get done first because it's in the bottom shelf. So we just insert this in here. And you don't want it to go to the bone. You want to get it as far as you can without going to the bone. So, the internal temperature of the chicken is 70 degrees. That's what it tells us here. And we're going to go to 157. Actually, the temperature has gone down to 66 degrees. That's the temperature inside the breast of that chicken. And we've set it for 157. That's the temperature we want it to cook to. It actually goes pretty fast once it's in there for a while. So we just sit there and keep an eye on the temperature of the chicken. Right now, this gauge is at 230. So we're looking good on the heat. It's set on medium here, so that's good. And we may have to check while we're here, let's check the wood chips. Yeah, they're pretty burned. I'm gonna add some more. To get a really good smoked flavor, well, I just spilled the water. So, we'll let it do its thing. Well, we're about 2 hours in. We're cooking it, holding it at 250. The internal temperature is 138. We're shooting for 157. So let's open it up and check it out and see how I think we're gonna need to add more chips. It smells incredible. There they are. The water's good. And I'm gonna add some more chips, get a little more smoke on it. But it looks beautiful. Can you zoom in on that? They're browning up nicely. I'm gonna, for this next hour, I'm probably gonna crank the heat up a little bit so it'll crisp the skin. And give it probably, I bet it'll be done in an hour, if not less. But it looks beautiful. We go. See you in about an hour. Well, it's done. It reached the temperature, and I'm going to put my gloves on so I can not burn my fingers when I'm carving it. These are really, really handy. Got them at Academy Sports. They're insulated so you don't burn your fingers when you're dealing with these hot meats. So let's look at it. Oh my. That looks wonderful. Perfectly browned. thermometer out. That's pretty normal for smoking these things. And we'll go ahead and start carving this up. I start right with the breast. Man, that's juicy. Okay, I'm gonna try a piece and let Lori try a piece. Oh, that is good. Isn't that great? Now we'll cut this side. Now we put these in 2 different containers because she likes light meat and I like dark meat. When you cook these, you take them out. The one thing that dries this white meat out is overcooking it. So a lot of recipes say it'll go to 165, but 157, as you can see, is really well cooked. And it's not dry. Now a lot of this, I'll go ahead and pull after I get finished. But I want to get this dark meat out of here. That pretty much does it for this chicken. That's how you smoke a chicken.